Hello enthusiasts, and welcome to this new episode of the site moonwatch.fr. Today I offer you the review of an unusual watch, the Oris Regulator Air Meistertaucher. Before we delve into the technical specifications of this Oris Regulator, der Meistertaucher, we will talk a little about the history of the House of Oris. I also prefer to warn you that, in the rest of the video, I will call this watch the Oris Regulator, simply to spare you from enduring my poor German accent. It was in 1999, inspired by the regulator clocks of the 18th century, that the Swiss watch manufacturer Oris created the first diving watch equipped with a regulator dial. This Oris Regulator watch was quickly followed by the first der Meistertaucher, which can be translated into French as Master Diver. This Oris Regulator Air Meistertaucher has non-coaxial hands, which means that the hour and minute hands are separate. You can also see on the dial that the minute hand is central while the hour hand is placed independently of this minute hand. As is often the case, the minute hand is in the center, while the hour is indicated by a hand on a subdial that is offset to about 3 o'clock. This allows the diver to set their dive time by aligning the minute hand with the 60-minute scale on the unidirectional rotating bezel. Consequently, the visibility of the dive time is significantly improved. Oris became well known primarily with this model and with other models, such as the 60 and, well, other models. It is a Swiss watchmaking company which has a very, very good reputation. Firstly, because I believe it is independent, it is not part of a group to verify. I will check. It is a company that offers products of very, very high quality, with prices often in line with the service provided. That is to say, if the watch is sold for around 1,300 euros, 1,200, 1,300 euros like the Oris 60 Diver, it is a watch that is truly worth that price. These are very, very good products. Oris has a very, very good reputation, especially in the field of diving watches, and this Oris Regulator is the perfect example. Let's now move on to the technical specifications of the Oris Regulator. This Oris Air Master Diver Regulator ISO version was produced between 2004 and 2008 for a very short period of 4 years. It is a watch primarily intended for men. Its case and bracelet are made of titanium. The watch houses an Oris 649 movement based on an ETA 28362. The power reserve is stated to be 38 hours. The watch is water resistant up to 1000 meters and has a helium valve, which you can see here. Obviously, it's a true diving watch that has been certified ISO, so there's no issue on that front. The bezel is unidirectional and rotates on 120 clicks. You can hear it. I'll bring it closer so you can listen. So, a bezel that exudes quality. The watch has 2 crowns, one at 4 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock. The one at 2 o'clock is the helium valve, and the second allows for setting the time and date. To protect the dial, Oris chose to use a domed sapphire on the outside with an anti-reflective coating on the inside. Regarding the dimensions, the watch measures 44 mm in diameter and 40 m in thickness, which is quite suitable for a watch waterproof up to 1000 meters. The bracelet is made of titanium. So, very, very good. The bracelet, nothing to say about it. It's solid. Oris sold the watch in a case with a second rubber strap. The lug width is a special one, a slight downside for changing the strap. We'll talk a little more about that later. The watch has 2 complications, the date complication and the Regulator complication. The Oris Regulator dive watch is a relatively large watch, but the use of a titanium case gives it a pleasant lightness when worn. You can even forget you're wearing the watch because it's so light. Visually, it's quite impressive since it's a rather massive, imposing watch with fairly large dimensions. And due to the use of titanium, we end up with an ultralight watch. The case of the Oris Meistertaucher Regulator features 2 crowns. The lower one is signed by Oris, the name of the brand, and it allows for setting the time and date, while the upper one corresponds to the helium valve. It is noted that it is painted red, which allows for deep-sea diving. In relation to the dimensions of the case, this case measures 44 mm in diameter and 40 mm in thickness. So we have a watch with dimensions that are quite reasonable, especially for a diving watch capable of diving to 1,000 meters. I will show you the case back on which we find the famous Oris flag. You see, up there, I will try to zoom in. We also find a number of inscriptions, such as titanium, waterproof, scratch-proof, the serial number, sapphire, water-resistant, etc. So, a case that truly exudes solidity. This model, for me, it has the particularity of having belonged to a member of the Greek divers. So it's a model that was really used for professional purposes. That's why, by the way, the bezel has a bit of wear. It doesn't bother me, I love it. And so I leave it, I don't replace it. I think it gives this watch charm and tells a bit of its story. So, a watch that has completed over 100 dives. Well, because by this professional diver. From memory, he was responsible for the renovation of certain hulls. Boat hulls, submarine hulls, such. The crown of this regulator bezel is unidirectional and offers 120 clicks. So, a crown with no play. We note that the watch has already been used quite a bit. Since it's a watch from 2004, I believe, or maybe 2005, and we can see there is no play in the crown, really very appreciable. You can see its quality. It's really perfect. A very good grip on the crown. You see, I had no difficulty turning it. So, a very, very high quality bezel. The dial of this Oris regulator is clearly the trigger for a crush. Atypical, it stands out notably for its hands, which are not coaxial, so we find the minute hand in the central position and the hour hand between 3 and 4 o'clock. The second hand, on the other hand, is located at 10 o'clock. The minute hand is relatively large, which makes reading the dive time easier. The date complication, however, is placed at 6 o'clock. During its production, the Oris Meistertaucher regulator has had several dials with different markings and textures. Here, it is the ISO 2281 version, meaning a dial without waves, the dial is solid, and without fully graduated bezels. Other versions have existed of this Oris, notably with a wave pattern dial. The dial was embossed. It is also very, very nice. I will adjust the dial a little so we can take a look. So, it is black in color. This ISO 2280 version is one of the very first of this Oris regulator. It is the one that was released in 2004. We find the inscription Swiss made, ISO 2281, 1000 meters, and Oris automatic. It clutters a little, the dial, but it remains very readable, obviously, since diving watches have a duty of readability. These are tool watches. So the watch must be readable. Just like the hour and minute hands, each adhex is marked and painted with Luminova, which has developed a very, very beautiful patina here. The nighttime visibility is excellent. Well, it's excellent, it's decent, let's say. We are far from Seiko. We are far from the quality of the reflective product used by Seiko, which I often use as a reference, it's true, because I find it excellent. Oris could have used a slightly more powerful Luminova, especially since it's a diving watch. But well, I appreciate the patina that this Luminova has developed. You can see it has started to develop a patina. It's visually very, very pleasant. Then to protect its dial, we have a slightly domed sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating on the inside, which allows to reveal the depth of the black dial. It feels like you're falling into this dial, it's incredible. Here, for once, the anti-reflective coating is almost as good quality as the one you can find on Breitling Seawolf, for example, which are very good watches with only choices of glass covered with very, very high quality anti-reflective coating. Regarding the movement of this Oris regulator, it's a reliable movement, used for several years by the Swiss company Oris. It is based on an ETA 28362, beating at 28800 vibrations per hour. You can easily recognize this movement by its oscillating weight, which is red. I won't be able to show it to you here, as the case back is screwed and not transparent. In any case, this Oris automatic movement is composed of 27 joules and is approximately 25 mem in diameter. The deviation I noted on this model is about 400 minutes per week, which is relatively high. We are far from Korsky, but Korsky certifications, but it's not necessarily a very big problem, since it's a watch that was last serviced. So I had it serviced in 2011 when I acquired it. So that was already a few years ago. And well, it remains a diving watch. So obviously it undergoes shocks, this kind of thing, so it drifts a little. In any case, the movement is relatively robust and it remains a very, very good watch. Oris did a great job with this Oris Regulator version, as it offers two straps directly in the packaging, namely a titanium strap, the one on the watch, and a rubber strap with its deployant clasp. The rubber strap, which is of very good quality. The first one, then, this titanium strap, has a deployant clasp that you can see here, which is signed by Oris. It's not going to be easy, I'll show you later. This clasp has, I'll show you now, this clasp has an extension that allows the watch to be worn over a diving suit. You see, we're going to sign the extension, quite a significant extension nonetheless, so it allows it to be worn over relatively thick suits. It's a watch designed to dive to 1000 meters, so obviously for splashing around in the pool you won't need it. This allows it to be worn over a neoprene suit of 5 or even more than 5 meters or more. So, a nice little detail, the strap is of very good quality, with very little stretch despite being used in a professional environment. That's appreciated. The second strap is a black rubber strap, quite rigid on its deployant clasp. Personally, I don't wear it on the rubber strap because it's not very flexible, and as a result, I don't find it super comfortable, the rubber strap being rigid. I prefer the titanium strap with the links, which in this case fits much more to the wrist. It fits perfectly on the wrist, the comfort is really nice. The watch, the size fits perfectly on my wrist. I'm used to watches of this size between 40 and 44, so this one really fits in. The thickness of 14 is acceptable? Well, obviously I prefer thinner watches, but here we have technical requirements since it's a watch that needs to be water resistant up to 1000 meters. So there you have it in the whole range. The wearing comfort is there. It's a very, very pleasant watch. A small downside though, it's impossible to use standard straps since the lug width is not standard. It's a special lug width. The straps are screwed in. As you can see, they're not spring bars. But otherwise, the watch is very, very pleasant to wear. Regarding the packaging of this watch, the Oris Regulator, the Swiss manufacturer Oris has done an impressive job by offering a toiletry bag-style box that contains the watch papers, user manuals, an additional rubber strap, extra spring bars, a screwdriver, and a flashlight. I was able to purchase the complete set, only the screwdriver was missing. It's not very, very serious. Honestly, it's very, very nice. You can go on vacation with the little toiletry bag. It's really very nice. On the blog, I've posted photos of my packaging. So I don't have it here because I don't store my boxes at home as I don't necessarily have the space. So there you go. The set is very well finished, whether it's the watch, the strap, or the packaging. Each element in the packaging is held in place by an elastic band, which ensures it doesn't move around when it's in your suitcase. For example, when it goes through the airport and all, it doesn't end up clashing together. Everything is very, very well secured. Regarding the price, we are dealing with a timepiece with almost perfect quality and finish. Obviously, we're talking about RIS, not Omega or Rolex, so the price remains affordable, and even more so on the second-hand market, since this watch is no longer produced. It cannot be found new. To acquire this Oris Regulator, you will need to turn to the second-hand market and expect to pay between 1,300 euros and 1,800 euros, depending on the overall condition of the watch and the packaging provided. Generally, you can find watches. I took a look on Chrono24, for example, with a pristine bezel, not to say new. I find it unfortunate, and I think it devalues the watch. I decided to buy this watch because, well, I immediately loved the dial, and the bezel instantly appealed to me because you can feel that this watch has a history. When the bezel is new, you have a bright red here, a bright black there, and you can see that it's a watch that has never been worn. I find that very, very, very unfortunate. Often, these watches with bezels that are no longer original, aftermarket bezels, aftermarket inserts are sold for more. And honestly, it's not justified. The vintage aspect of the bezel can be a deterrent for some, I understand that, but I think it adds more character to the watch. You see, here the bezel, the insert is scratched, it has started to develop a beautiful patina. And that Quan6, it personalizes the watch, it makes it, so to speak, unique, since no other watch will have these wear marks, these signs of time. Watches are timekeepers, and so they should have the marks of the time they help to keep, if I may say so. So it would be a shame to have to replace them with an aluminum bezel that doesn't necessarily come from Oris, or especially one that has never been released. It's a bit of a shame. When you buy a second-hand watch, you have to take the advantages along with the disadvantages. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, in the second-hand market, you have to count at least 1,300 euros for an Oris Regulator watch. And the price can soar up to 1,800 euros for a full set version. Let's now move on, in my opinion, to this Oris Regulator. With its vintage look, faded bezel, and a few scratches, this Oris Regulator immediately captivated me. The double crown enhances the vintage aspect typically found on models traditionally called super compressors, the EPSA, this type of case. Affordable, 1,300 euros for a Swiss watch of this quality, automatic. Plus, it's a regulator. And a dive watch that fears neither fresh water nor the sea. It's still an exceptional price. It's a shame. In fact, I think it's unfortunate that this Oris regulator is not produced or reissued today. And it is becoming increasingly difficult to find. So there are new models that have come out. There have been new ranges, who knows, etc. Well, it's a bit less charming, I find. We are still talking about a regulator watch, so really atypical. Often, when I pass by my watch, or when people see my watch, when I'm at the beach because I go swimming in the sea, with it, for example, people ask me, what is it? Your dials, is it a chronograph? Well, no, it's not a chronograph, it's a regulator. And we start discussing what is a regulator, etc. So, there you go, it's still a nice model because of that. The watch is no longer produced, so the value on the second-hand market is rising. I bought it in 2000, I don't remember exactly. It wasn't what the current price is, I didn't buy it for that. 1,300 euros, far from it. Today, it's a sought-after model, especially since the models you find are starting to develop beautiful patinas on the indices, and that honestly is incredibly charming. No recent model will have a patina like that. So, well, that's also a plus. In comparison with a Turtle, Paddy, or a Seiko Samurai or an Avenger Seawolf. Not with the Avenger, but compared to the Seikos, yes, it's a watch that will be more expensive, but it is also rarer. Seikos. 1 out of 2 people will use Seikos, whereas here we have a watch that is much more original. What else can we say? To conclude, I can say that the gift is the same. In regulator style, with non-coaxial hands. Honestly, it's great. You get used to it very, very well and very quickly. And honestly, it's a charm for me. It's a true diver's watch. With a widely unique charm, with this regulator aspect. And honestly, if you can try one, I recommend it. There's a good chance you'll be charmed. There you go. Before concluding, as usual, I invite you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and to click the thumbs up to support us. It always makes us happy to see that our videos are appreciated. Thank you. I also invite you to visit our website www.moonwatch.fr. We are also present on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, moonwatch.fr, all together, where you will find our latest articles, our latest photos, our latest acquisitions. I assure you, there's something for everyone. There are watches of luxury, high-end, mid-range, and even low-end. I just received a Oris GMT Master Homage. Honestly, I am quite pleasantly surprised. The review will be in the coming days, so don't hesitate to subscribe, and then I'll see you soon in a new video. Goodbye.